decided to jump right in and give her icebreaker. Please welcome Kristie Rosa as she gives her icebreaker speech entitled Forgiveness.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to commend Brandon for laying down on the floor that way without any pain, because I haven't done that in so many years I couldn't even imagine. I'm gonna need to do some of those exercises for sure. All right, I was asked to come up here and introduce myself. Obviously, I'm nervous. My speech went a little different direction than I wanted it to, but I stuck with it because I believe that it still tells about me. When my brother and I were kids, our mother never let us go to sleep upset at each other. She always made us sit down and sort out our differences, apologize, and say, "I love you." She had a designated time of day where she gathered us in the living room and we had family hug time. My mom allowed other people in our family and friends to join in on this special time. But even though I could tell some people thought it was silly, they still enjoyed it. My mother raised us alone, and she was not a perfect mother. I don't think anyone is perfect, but although we did not lack love in our home, we did lack discipline. In all hopes of doing right for her children, my mother put me in martial arts very early in life. I thrived there, and I felt unstoppable in a world that made me feel less than I mattered. I felt strong and powerful and invincible, but instead of it shaping me the way that it should have at the time, it turned me into a monster. I was very aggressive and angry at the world, and I acted so. I was angry at my mother for things that I now allow to be in the past, but for a long time, the anger and hate stood with me. Although we were close, I was not always the best daughter. 3 years ago, my mother got sick. She needed an invasive surgery, and the doctors told us that there was a 1% chance that anything could possibly go wrong. But just like the unfortunate happening, we got a late night call that her procedure had gone wrong, and we should come say bye. My heart sunk to the floor, and my body followed. The mother that had cared for me my whole life, cared for my child, the one I was so angry at for so long, I would never get the chance to say I'm sorry to. Sorry for being a terrible daughter. I bawled for a while, and then I got up and headed to the hospital. My brother and I were allowed to go in the unit that they held her, and the doctors apologized for what happened. They said that this had only happened one time before, and how sorry they were, and they walked us into the room. They removed the machines holding our mother together, and just like the God she so much believed in would do, she took a deep breath and she woke up freaking out. We didn't understand what was happening, but by the looks on the nurses' faces, they were just as in shock. Our mother woke up out of something that was meant to take her from us, and I think I changed that day. I let go of everything that hurt me and everyone that has hurt me. The amount of anger and hate and hurt that I had inside, I let it go, and because of the love I was given by my mother unconditionally, I am now learning in life to love me first. Although my mother came out of something that should have taken her, unfortunately, it left her in pretty heartbreaking circumstances. She's no longer the woman who raised me, but the child that we would have had to raise if the roles were reversed. These days, I am a soft, loving, and kind-hearted daughter to the mother that deserves so much more than these circumstances. I now realize that life is too short, and loving myself means forgiving myself and forgiving those who have hurt me, forgiving my mother, And as I've grown, I've come to understand we don't know better than we were taught. And just like myself, my mother did the best she could with the tools that she had. And considering the amazing kids she raised, I think she did a pretty great job. If I could accolade one person in this lifetime, it would for sure be my mother. Thank you.